Hey, this is Matt with Go Read Books, and I thought I would record a video today sitting on my porch, just a little change of scenery. So thank you for joining me. Well, I have finally done it. I have finished the Farseer trilogy. Just finished Assassin's Quest earlier today. Of course, with the Farseer trilogy, you have the Assassin's Apprentice, which is book 1, Royal Assassin, book 2, and then Assassin's Quest, which is book 3. And in Assassin's Apprentice, you find a really good coming-of-age story with Fitz there, moving to Buckkeep, and you really find a great story there. So that was a good book. If I were ranking them, I would really rank them just as they are in the trilogy. I would rank book 1 with the Assassin's Apprentice, book 2 with the Royal Assassin. I enjoyed Royal Assassin. It wasn't quite as good for me as Assassin's Apprentice was, but that doesn't take anything away from it because I really enjoyed it. And then Assassin's Quest. Now this is where I was a little divided. So the beginning, I enjoyed the beginning. In fact, probably the first third of the book I enjoyed. Almost the first third. But then you move into this long, drawn-out quest in the middle, which was a little more difficult for me. Not the fact that it's just a quest. It just seems like a lot of things happen that could have been told in a shorter amount of time. But who am I to question what Robin Hobb chose to do? But in fact, I almost stopped reading it for a little while. Not to quit the series, but maybe take a break. But I pushed through a little bit. And then I got to the final act, the last portion of the book, and it was just wonderful. You really had a satisfying end here. I don't really want to give anything away, no spoilers, but it was a satisfying end, at least for me. I've heard mixed reviews even on that, but some have said that maybe the ending was a little rushed. I didn't feel that way. I felt like we needed that ending when you came through the journey that they went through. So I enjoyed book 3. But what I wanted to do with this video today was really to kind of, excuse me, give you my opinion, completely my opinion, on my top 5 characters of the Realm of the Elderling so far. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you top 5 is, our number 5 in the top 5 is Fitz. You know, the story is about Fitz. It's written from his point of view. Why would Fitz not be higher on the list? I'll say this, there's a lot more characters than 5. So Robin Hobb is a wonderful character writer. No disputing that. Really no arguing with that. Stephen King is a wonderful character writer. Robin Hobb is very close to him in the way she makes you care about the characters. And I did care about Fitz. There were just other characters I cared about a little bit more. Enjoyed Fitz's story, but again, he was number 5 for me. Number 4 was the Fool. Now, of course, you don't get much of the Fool in book 1. You get a little more of the Fool in book 2, and then you get a great deal more of the Fool in book 3. In fact, that's why I think I enjoyed the third book, the third act of the third book, as much as I did, because you have a lot more of the Fool in it. The Fool is a very complicated character. A lot of layers there with the Fool. So the more you read about him, the more you begin to understand. At least the more I think I begin to understand. I know there's going to be more books with the Fool in it as we move forward, and I look forward to learning more about the Fool. The Fool is number 4. Number 3, the number 3 character for me is Burrich, which was a surprise for me because at first I didn't think I was going to like Burrich. In fact, I thought Burrich, in just the very early parts of book 1, I thought he was going to be somewhat of a, not a villain, but more of a character that you just weren't supposed to like because of one specific thing that happened. But then you learn that that was overblown a little bit. Maybe Fitz didn't understand quite what happened, and Burrich really becomes a father figure. And so that really meant a lot to me. I had a really close relationship with my father. So anytime I see that, a father-son type figure, though Burrich was not Fitz's father, but he basically raised him, I really enjoyed his, especially the more you see with Robin Hobb, the way she does characters, the more you see his character unfolding throughout the trilogy. I loved Burrich. Burrich, I'm not sure. I've heard it pronounced differently. My number 2. So number 5 was Fitz. Number 4 is the Fool. Number 3 is Burrich. Number 2. My number 2 top character from the Realm of the Elderlings so far, or the Farseer trilogy, was Night Eyes. So I think other people who I've heard talk about this series may have known that Night Eyes was coming. I thought, I've heard about the great animal companion that Fitz has. Well, I thought his first dog was that, and then you learn that it's not. And then I thought his second dog would be that, and then you learn it's not. But then Night Eyes comes in book 2, and you see a little bit of that relationship unfolding in book 2, but then in book 3 you really see the relationship between Fitz and Night Eyes come about. And I really feel like if Fitz would have listened to Night Eyes more, he may have had not quite as hard of a time. And so I enjoyed getting to know Night Eyes. It would be really neat to have that type of relationship with your pets, as far as the wit relationship. And then number 1. So let's go over it again. Number 5 was Fitz. Number 4 was the Fool. Number 3 was Burrich. Number 2 was Night Eyes. And number 1, Ketrican. I loved every time she was on the page. I loved it, especially for one particular feature that just stood out to me. In fact, this feature stood out to me more than probably anything else. I'm not sure if the noise is a little much out here. I have cars passing by, but excuse that. Ketrican, when she would talk about her role as a queen or as a princess as sacrifice, that just stood out to me so much. That she was giving herself for her people, as a sacrifice for her people, and that's how she viewed leadership. That's how she was raised to view leadership in her nation. And that's the reason that stood out to me, is because I believe if leaders today would view themselves in that nature, that they are giving themselves for their people, I think that would make us better leaders. So anyway, there it is, my top 5 characters from the Farseer trilogy, or the Realm of the Elderlings. And I'm sure this is going to change a little bit as I move forward in the Realm of the Elderlings, but this is what it is right now. I'm glad I read the trilogy. I look forward to starting in Live Ship Traders next. I've heard a lot of great things about that, so I am so excited about that. Thank you for listening in for a few minutes, and now go read books.